Have you ever thought that you need money to start farming? Or is that just something you were told again and again? Because the truth is simple. You do not need money to start. Growing plants. You need awareness and the right system. And in this video, you will understand how waste plastic bottles can become your farming tools and how zero investment can still produce real results. And this is not theory, this is a practical approach designed for people who have limited space, limited budget, and still want to grow something meaningful at home. Most people never start because they believe farming requires land tools and investment, but the reality is completely different. The real problem is not lack of money, the real problem is lack of resource awareness. Because waste is not waste, it is unused potential. And when you start looking at plastic bottles as containers instead of trash, your entire perspective begins to change. And this is exactly where zero rupee farming begins, not with money, but with a mindset shift. This method is especially powerful for those living in small homes, apartments, or areas where traditional gardening is not possible, because it removes the biggest barrier, space and cost, and replaces it with a simple system where you use what you already have. And this is why this approach works for beginner students, low-budget households, and anyone who wants to start without risk. Because there is nothing to lose and everything to learn. Now the core idea is very clear. You are not trying to create a big farm, you are trying to build a smart system where each plastic bottle becomes a small growing unit, and when multiple units come together, they create a functional mini farm. And for example, one bottle can grow herbs, another can grow leafy vegetables, and slowly your setup expands without any investment. And this is how zero rupee farming grows step by step. So the expectation from this series is simple. You will learn how to start from nothing, how to use waste as a resource, and how to build a small but effective farming system without spending money. And if you follow this correctly, you will realize that starting is not difficult, thinking differently is. And in the next part, you will learn how to grab attention and present this idea in a powerful way so that people instantly connect and stay engaged till the end. Why are you still waiting to start farming when the only thing stopping you is a belief that you need money? Because that belief is false, and it is costing you time, progress, and opportunity. And here is the truth. You do not need money to grow plants. You need awareness and a simple system. And in this video, you will learn how ordinary waste bottles can become your farming tools and how zero investment can still give you real results. Start with a question that forces the viewer to think and connects directly to their problem. Have you ever wanted to grow your own plants, but stopped because you thought you needed land or budget? And this question works because it targets a real hesitation and makes the viewer feel understood, and once they feel understood, they are more likely to stay and listen to what comes next. Now follow it with a bold statement that challenges their belief. You do not need money to start farming, and most people are wasting resources every day without realizing it. And statements like this break patterns and create attention because they sound different from what people usually hear. And this difference is what makes them stop scrolling and focus. Create a curiosity gap by not explaining everything immediately, and instead give a hint of something valuable but incomplete, like there is a simple method that allows you to grow multiple plants using only waste bottles, but most people use it the wrong way. And this creates a mental gap, and the viewer stays to discover what they are missing because curiosity drives retention. Finally, give a clear promise so the viewer knows what they will gain from watching this video. You will learn how to start zero rupee farming using plastic bottles step by step and build a small system that actually works. And when you combine question, bold truth, curiosity, and promise, your hook becomes strong enough to hold attention and prepare the viewer for the main content. And in the next part, you will understand how this entire zero rupee farming system actually works in a simple and clear way. Now, understand the system clearly, because most people hear zero rupee farming and immediately think it is unrealistic. But the truth is, it becomes practical when You break it into simple steps. The entire concept is based on reusing waste plastic bottles and turning them into small growing units where each bottle acts like a mini pot. And instead of buying containers, you use what you already have. And this is the foundation of the method where waste is converted into a usable resource without spending anything. The idea of a micro-farming system is very simple. You are not trying to grow everything at once. You are creating small controlled units that can be managed easily. And when these small units are combined, they form a complete system. For example, one bottle can grow herbs, another can grow leafy greens, and another can be used for seedlings. And when you place these bottles together, you create a compact farming setup that works even in very small spaces. Now, the important question: how can plants survive without investment? And the answer is that plants do not depend on money. They depend on conditions. They need soil, water, sunlight, and care. And all of these can be arranged without spending money if you use local resources wisely. Soil can be taken from natural ground compost, can be created from kitchen waste, and water and sunlight are already available. So, when basic conditions are fulfilled, plants grow naturally, regardless of financial investment. A simple example makes this clear. Take one plastic bottle, clean it, cut it properly, fill it with a mix of soil and organic waste compost, and plant seeds like coriander or spinach. Place it near sunlight and water it regularly. Within days, you will start seeing growth. And this shows that the system works not because of expensive tools, but because of correct method and consistency. And once one bottle succeeds, you can repeat the same process to expand your setup. So remove the confusion completely. Zero rupee farming does not mean no effort. It means smart effort, where you use available resources instead of buying new ones. And once you understand this concept, everything becomes simple and practical. And in the next part, you will learn how to collect and prepare bottles correctly, because this is the first physical step where your idea starts turning into a real system. So stay focused and continue learning. Starting your zero rupee farming system depends on how well you collect and prepare your bottles, because this is the first practical step where your idea turns into action. And if you do this correctly, everything becomes easier later. And if you do this carelessly, your system becomes weak from the beginning. So focus on finding bottles that are strong, clean, and usable, because your entire farming setup will depend on these containers. Free bottles are everywhere if you look with awareness, because most households throw away plastic bottles daily, and you can collect them from your own home, from neighbors, or even small local shops where empty bottles are often discarded. And the key is consistency, because once you start collecting regularly, you build your supply without spending anything, and this creates a strong base for your farming system without any cost. Cleaning is very important, because leftover liquids or dirt inside bottles can affect plant health. So always wash bottles thoroughly using water, and if needed, use a small amount of soap and rinse properly to remove any residue, and then let the bottles dry completely before using them, because clean containers prevent contamination and create a healthy environment for plants to grow. Size selection also matters, because not all bottles are equal. Larger bottles give more space for roots and are better for growing stronger plants, while smaller bottles are suitable for herbs or seedlings. And a smart approach is to use a mix of sizes based on your needs, so you can create a flexible system where each bottle serves a specific purpose instead of forcing all plants into one type of container. Basic preparation includes removing labels, checking for cracks, and ensuring the bottle is strong enough to hold soil and water. And this simple step improves durability and makes handling easier later. And one common beginner mistake is using weak or damaged bottles which collapse after adding soil. Another mistake is skipping proper cleaning, which leads to poor plant growth, and these small errors can reduce your success rate. So always prepare your bottles properly before moving to the next stage. And in the next part, you will learn how to cut and structure these bottles into a functional farming system. So stay focused and continue learning. Now this is the stage where your Collected bottles turn into a functional farming system, and if this step is done correctly, your plants will grow smoothly. But if this step is weak, your entire setup will struggle, no matter how good your soil or seeds are, because structure is the foundation, and foundation decides stability and success in zero rupee farming. There are different cutting types, and each one serves a purpose. The simplest method is horizontal cutting, where you cut the bottle from the side and create an open section for planting. And this is best for beginners because it is easy to manage. Another method is vertical cutting, where you create long openings along the bottle, which allows better root spread and more planting space. And a third method is top cut, where the upper part is removed and used like a pot. And all these methods depend on your space and plant type, but the goal is always the same: create a usable growing space. Section creation is where strategy comes in, because random cutting will not give good results. You must plan how much space each plant needs and create sections accordingly. For example, if you want to grow small herbs, you can create smaller sections, but if you are growing leafy vegetables, you need slightly larger areas in this. Planning ensures that each plant has enough room to grow without competing for resources, and this is what makes your system efficient. Drainage system is one of the most important parts, because water must not stay stagnant inside the bottle, so you need to create small holes at the bottom or sides to allow excess water to escape and at the same time keep enough moisture inside the soil, and this balance prevents root rot and keeps plants healthy, and many beginners ignore this step, which leads to water buildup and poor growth, so always make sure drainage is properly managed. Balance structure is also critical, because once soil and water are added, the bottle becomes heavier, and if the design is not stable, it can tilt or collapse, so you must ensure the bottle sits firmly or is properly supported, and sections are evenly distributed. And the reason design matters so much is simple. A strong structure supports better root growth, water flow, and plant stability. And when your design is correct, your system becomes reliable and easy to manage. And in the next part, you will learn how to create soil without spending money, and how to build a strong growing base using free resources. So stay connected and continue learning. Now we move to the stage that controls real growth, because without good soil, your bottle system will not perform, no matter how strong the structure is. And the advantage of zero rupee farming is that you can build effective soil without spending money if you understand where to get it and how to prepare it properly using resources that are already available around you. Free soil sources are easy to find. If you look with awareness, you can collect soil from garden edges, open land, roadside patches, or unused corners where soil is loose and not polluted. And the key is to choose soil that is not too hard and not contaminated, because healthy soil is the base of healthy plants, and once you collect it, you can reuse it in your bottle system without any cost. Compost from waste is what upgrades your soil, and this is where zero rupee farming becomes powerful, because kitchen waste like vegetable peels, fruit scraps, and dry leaves can be converted into organic compost over time, and this compost adds nutrients to your soil, which supports strong plant growth and reduces the need for chemical fertilizers, and this step turns everyday waste into valuable plant food. Soil mix method is important, because using plain soil is not enough. You need to mix soil with compost and some light material like sand or crushed dry leaves to improve airflow and moisture balance, and this mixture creates a soft and breathable environment where roots can grow freely and absorb nutrients properly, and this balance is what keeps your plants healthy in a small bottle system. Soil quality matters because, in a confined space, plants depend completely on what you provide, and if the soil is poor, growth will be slow and weak, but if the soil is rich and balanced, plants will grow faster and stronger even in a small container, and this is why spending time on soil preparation gives better results than rushing into planting. A simple example makes this clear. Take collected soil, mix it with compost made from kitchen waste, and add a small amount of sand. Then fill your bottle and plant seeds like coriander or spinach, and within days you will notice better germination and stronger growth, compared to plain soil, and this proves that smart soil preparation can replace expensive inputs. And in the next part you will learn how to select seeds and plants without spending money, so stay focused and continue learning. Now, understand that your entire zero-rupee farming system depends heavily on what you choose to grow. Because even if your bottles and soil are perfect, wrong seed selection will reduce results. And this is why smart plant selection is not about choosing random seeds. It is about choosing the right plants that can survive and grow efficiently inside a limited bottle environment. Free seeds are easier to find than most people think. Because many vegetables and fruits you already use at home contain usable seeds. For example, coriander seeds from your kitchen can be planted directly. Tomato seeds can be taken from ripe tomatoes, and dried and chili seeds can also be reused. And this simple habit removes the need to buy seeds and allows you to start farming without any cost. The best plants for bottle farming are those that grow fast, do not require deep roots, and can adapt to small spaces such as coriander, mint, spinach, lettuce, and small herbs. Because these plants grow well in controlled environments and do not compete aggressively for space or nutrients, which makes them ideal for bottle-based systems. Compatibility is very important because plants growing in a shared system must have similar needs. If one plant requires more water and another requires less, then imbalance will occur, so it is better to group plants that need similar sunlight, water, and nutrients, and this keeps the system stable and easier to manage over time. Growth balance is achieved when all plants receive equal opportunity to develop, and this depends on spacing, light, and care. And if one plant grows too fast, it should be trimmed or adjusted so it does not block others, and this ensures that all sections perform equally instead of one dominating the system. A practical example is planting coriander, mint, and spinach in separate bottles or sections, where each plant has enough space and similar care requirements, and when you manage them with proper watering and sunlight, they grow together efficiently without conflict. And this proves that correct selection leads to better results without extra effort. And in the next part, you will learn how to manage watering and sunlight to keep this system stable and productive, so stay connected and continue learning. Now this is the stage where most zero-rupee farming systems either succeed or fail, because watering and sunlight are the two forces that control plant life, and if they are not balanced properly, your entire effort can collapse, even if everything else is done correctly. So your focus should not be on giving more water or more light. Your focus should be on giving the right amount at the right time. Smart watering means no waste and no excess, because in a bottle system water stays longer, and if you keep adding water again and again, the soil becomes heavy, roots lose oxygen, and growth slows down. So instead of fixed schedules, you must observe the soil condition and water only when the top layer starts drying, while the inner layer still holds slight moisture, and this method keeps roots active and healthy. Moisture control is the real key, because plants do not need constant wet soil. They need a balance between moisture and air, and when soil stays slightly moist but not soaked, roots grow stronger and absorb nutrients better. And this balance can only be achieved when you water slowly in small amounts instead of pouring large quantities at once. And this simple change improves plant health significantly. Placement strategy is important because sunlight is the main energy source, and your bottles must be placed where they receive consistent light, preferably near windows, rooftops, or open areas where sunlight reaches directly for a few hours daily. And if light is too weak, plants become thin and weak, and if it is too strong for too long, it can dry the soil quickly, so choosing the right spot creates stability. Rotation technique is a simple but powerful habit where you turn your bottles slightly every day or every few days, so all sides receive equal sunlight, and this prevents one-sided growth and ensures that all plants develop evenly, and this small action makes a big difference in maintaining balance inside the system. Growth stability is achieved when watering and sunlight work together in harmony, because when plants receive balanced Moisture and equal light, they grow uniformly without stress, and your system becomes stable, productive, and easy to manage. And in the next part, you will learn how to maintain your setup and avoid common mistakes that destroy progress. So stay focused and continue learning. Maintenance is the stage that decides whether your zero rupee farming system survives long-term or slowly fails. Because setup alone is not enough, you must stay connected with your plants through daily observation and small adjustments. And this is where most people lose results, not because the method is wrong, but because they stop paying attention after starting. Daily observation is your strongest tool, because plants always give signals before problems become serious. You need to check leaf color, growth speed, and soil condition regularly. If leaves start turning yellow, it may indicate water imbalance. If growth becomes slow, it may indicate poor light or weak soil. And these small signs help you fix issues early before they damage the entire system. Cleaning and trimming are essential because in a small bottle environment, dead leaves and excess growth can block airflow and light, and this creates unhealthy conditions. So removing dry leaves and trimming overgrown parts keeps the system fresh, balanced, and productive, and it also allows each plant to receive proper space and energy for growth. Common mistakes include overwatering, poor placement, wrong plant combination, and ignoring drainage, and these mistakes slowly weaken the system and reduce output, but the advantage is that all these issues can be corrected if identified early, and this is why awareness is more important than effort, because correct action at the right time prevents bigger problems. Fixing problems requires simple adjustments. If soil is too wet, reduce watering. If plants are not growing, move them to a better light position. If growth is uneven, adjust spacing or trim dominant plants, and these small corrections bring the system back to balance without needing extra cost or complex solutions. Consistency is the final key, because zero rupee farming is not about one-time effort, it is about regular care and observation, and those who stay consistent see continuous growth, while those who ignore maintenance lose results over time. And in the final part, you will learn the complete master system, along with benefits and action steps to apply everything effectively. So stay connected and move to the last part. Now bring everything together, because this is not just a gardening method, it is a complete system that teaches you how to use what you already have and convert waste into value. And if you understand this final structure clearly, you will be able to repeat it anywhere, anytime, without cost and without dependence on external resources. The full system starts with mindset shift, where you stop thinking that farming needs money and start understanding that resources already exist around you. Then you collect waste plastic bottles and prepare them properly. Then you design a simple cutting structure that creates growing space. Then you prepare soil using free or natural materials. Then you select suitable seeds that can grow in small spaces. Then you manage watering and sunlight carefully. And finally, you maintain the system through observation and small adjustments. And when all these steps work together, you get a stable mini farming setup. Zero rupee farming mindset is the real foundation, because this system is not about poverty, it is about intelligence. It is about seeing value where others see waste. And when you adopt this mindset, you stop depending on buying solutions and start creating your own. And this thinking not only helps in farming, but also changes how you solve problems in daily life, because you begin to focus on usage instead of limitation. The benefits are very clear. First, you save money because you are not buying pots or expensive tools. Second, you reduce waste by reusing plastic bottles. Third, you grow your own plants, even in small spaces. And fourth, you develop a sustainable habit that supports environment and self-reliance. And this combination of cost-saving and sustainability makes this method powerful for long-term use. Now your action step is simple. Start today. Do not wait. Collect a few plastic bottles, clean them, prepare soil from available sources. Choose easy plants like coriander or mint and set up your first small system and observe how it grows. Because learning happens through action, not just information, and once you complete your first setup, you will understand how easy this method really is. And finally, if you found value in this system, then apply it, share it, and stay consistent, because small steps create big results. And if you want more practical zero-cost ideas like this, then like this content, share it with others, and subscribe for more, because the next system will take this idea even further into advanced low-cost farming techniques that can change how you think about space resources and growth completely.